Hello everyone and welcome to V8 Online's live broadcast of RaceCentre's Race to Reality competition. We are back at Oran Park where it all began for round 6, and of course we are sponsored by V8 Supercars Fan Group, V8 Online Superstore and Direct Clutch Services. I'm your host for this evening, Corey Slade. Joining me again is Reese Garner. G'day Reese.
Hey Corey, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad mate, yourself?
Not too bad. It's my second time out commentating, and it's looking to be an interesting race once again.
Yeah, it's great to have you back again, mate. Last week, a few of the guys really thought you did a great job, so it's great to have you back. And of course, we've actually, not of course, we've got a special guest tonight. We've got our director, Sebastian Murray-Wesberg, I think, joining us as well.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Not too bad, mate. And I believe you have a special guest with you tonight.
Yeah. So I've managed to get hold of Shane Gilfeather from RaceCentre. He's down in Sydney at the moment with us on the line. So give me a second. I'll just see if I can get him on the line for you. Shane, buddy, you got us, mate. Yo, Shane.
Yeah, hey guys, how you going?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
Good. Welcome to Australia's most advanced racing sim centre.
Thanks heaps.
We've got 8 racing simulators here, all full motion. You can race by yourself or with your mates. You can link up these cars together and you choose what car and track you want to drive worldwide. We use R Factor and iRacing as well. So here you can see Mitchell doing some hot laps at Oran Park. Over Oran, across the bridge. He'll be giving us a hot lap in a second. And guys, when you come down, you can actually compete in the heats of the iRacing in-store as well for $50. That's over 2 hours on the sims, so it's well worth it, and you get pretty much an entry into the heat. So if you want to come on down, don't hesitate. We're open 10 to 10 every day of the week. And bring your friends. Alright guys, back to you.
Thanks heaps for that, Shane. No, it's really good to see Shane down at the store and Mitch Abrill's down there punching in a few laps and all that, so it's good to see.
Yeah, it's a nice little setup those guys have got in both their Queensland and Sydney stores. I'll tell you what, I might have to get down there and have a bit of a drive one day.
Yeah, it looks like a bundle of fun. Actually, I'm just getting word through. We've got Mitch's hot laps streamed and ready to go, so we might quickly jump over to that and have a look. All right, let's take it away, Mitch.
Yep.
Hi everyone, just going to do a hot lap for our park here in the Aussie Legend and show you guys around, and hopefully you can grab some bits and pieces off that you find useful. Just going through the last corner now, onto the main straight. Up to 4th gear. Down to one of the scariest corners that iRacing has to offer. So you brake just bore the kink, back down to 3rd, and then back down to 2nd. You want to apex mid-corner, and then just slam the throttle straight back down again, ride the curb, then up to 3rd, brake just before the concrete apron on the left, back down to 2nd. Once again apex, but feed the throttle on out of here very gently because the car wants to just kick you out. Leave it in 2nd. Once again, feed it on very slowly out of here, and then pull it up to 3rd. Some people like 2nd, but I prefer 3rd, makes the car a bit more stable. Keep it in 3rd all the way through, then turn just before the crest, get 2 wheels on the concrete apron, straight line it out, coming up to Startments. Once again you want to apex before you go in, straight line through, and then out. And flat out over the crest here, leave it in 3rd, and down the last corner, back to 2nd. Apex and gently feed on the throttle, right out to the wall. And that's a lap of Oran Park. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Well, thanks heaps for that, Mitch. That was awesome. And it's really good to get some insight into what it takes to get a solid lap around this tricky Oran Park circuit. I think we've lost our commentators. You boys
There we
there?
go, we're back.
Hey, there we go.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I tell you what, it's a great racetrack, and it's a shame that it was actually demolished in real life, but it'll always be here with us in the sim, and hopefully providing some good racing. As I said, we are here for round 6 of the RaceCentre Race Reality competition. We kicked it all off here 6 weeks ago, where Madison Down went on to take the inaugural win. So back again, some of the guys that were there back then are here again tonight, looking to have a crack. And I'll tell you what, if we've still got Reece Jerry on the line, it's pretty close up the top at the moment, mate.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. Oran Park is an incredibly challenging circuit. Even though it doesn't exist in real life anymore, it still is an incredibly challenging racetrack. Last week at Okayama, it was a circuit that was very wide and very flat. Oran Park, by comparison, is very bumpy and very slow in a lot of areas, and it takes a lot of effort to hustle a car like the Legends around here, and it does seem to be very close at the top. The top 5 are covered by only 5/10 of a second, and the top 4, in fact, are covered by just over a tenth, so it is very close up the front.
Yeah, speaking of times, I'll quickly run through the order as you're about to switch over to qualifying. John Latham did top the practice session from Mitchell McLeod, Bill Rockstra in P3, so continuing the form he's had over the last couple of weeks. Matthew Hill in 4, Anthony Kernich in 5th, Colin Schwecke 6th, Adrian Stratford in 7th, Gavin Sadler 8th, Dylan Carroll 9th, Guy Leach 10th. In 11th was Greg Robinson, followed by Robbie Tomei, who I believe is Robert Tomei from a couple of weeks ago, for those that remember him. Jay Kennedy making a return as well this week in P13, Michael Gray in 14, Daniel Bryan out there also in 15th, Jeremiah Morton in 16th, and then we had Sam McLeod, which is actually Mitchell's father. I think he might be in here just for a bit of a look. Anyway, the practice session has ended. We have tipped over to qualifying now, so the guys are on their hour lap trying to find some clear space and try and set a banker lap down relatively early, as we saw last week. Just get a lap time on the boards, then try and push a little bit harder as the session goes on.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to get a clean lap in at the moment with all of the cars as bunched up as they are and trying to separate out, because it is very, very twisty in some parts of the track. And as I said, it is a very bumpy track, so make a mistake and it's most likely that you're going to go flying.
Have a look now who the first guy to start the hot lap is going to be. I believe it's Colin Schwecke now. He comes over dogleg into the final corner. Jay Kennedy's behind him, running a little bit wide.
Uphill left-hander this final turn of the track, coming out onto the start-finish straight. Looks like Jay Kennedy is attempting to get a draft from Colin Schwecke. This turn 1 here at Oran Park is an incredibly difficult corner to get right, at least for me anyway. You've got a curb on the inside that really wants to unsettle the car, and it goes right into a braking zone into a corner with curbs on the inside that look like they belong more on a suburban road than on a racetrack.
I can tell you turn 1 in these things is an absolute blast. I remember I had a run in the original race, and I can remember picking the car up and the wheels bouncing around there trying to break into turn 2, and it was all crossed up and locking the front left wheel. It's a lot of fun, that's for sure. And see Colin getting a little bit sideways back there. Looks like he's got a little bit twitchy at the moment in that car.
Struggling with oversteer. There's a lot of elevation changes in that section of the circuit. Oh,
Daniel Bryan had a bit of a spin.
That was very close.
Didn't have detracted too much. It was a little bit up ahead, and Jay Kennedy still behind, doing a good job to stay with Colin. Colin was P6 in practice, so coming up now to the dogleg. This is another awesome part of the track in this car. It is flat out, and unfortunately this is where my race ended when I ran here a couple of weeks ago. We clipped the inside curb into the fence we went, and Colin got through there nicely as he's got it, just tuck it in. Just nip the curb and run out to the wall. So that is a fun corner, that one. It's got a lot of run off there on the exit, but you got to watch out for that wall. So as Schwecke comes to the line, it's a 17.3. So he's about a second off what he did in practice, but not a bad banking lap.
Anthony Kernich, meanwhile, has smashed his time with a 1:16.283 as more drivers put times on the board.
Yeah, John Latham to the top there, the 15.5. All but matches his practice time, so good for the first lap there by John.
Indeed.
Got to congratulate, I think it's John Latham and Anthony Kernich for winning the V8 Online tickets into tonight's race. So good job. I know there was a few seats put up for grabs by the V8 Online Superstore, V8 Online himself, and it's good to see a big grid here tonight.
Yeah, and John Latham and Anthony Kernich are definitely making good use of those tickets that they were awarded, because they are currently 1-2 on the timesheets at the moment.
Robbie Tomei now coming up over the bridge, one of the more famous parts of the racetrack. Hard corner, Tony got to brake or lift off the gas and try and get it turned in and then power it on again. It's a good track though. The curbs and these things you can really use. I know a lot of other tracks in iRacing you get hampered by the 1X off tracks, but around here you can really sort of pound the curbs and use a lot of them, which is nice.
Yes, indeed. It's a very, very interesting part of the track, this one. Fun fact about the dog leg, which Robbie Tomei is about to come into. Not only is it flat out, like you said, Corey, but it's also blind. Once you go into that turn, the left-hander part of the dog leg, you can't see it because it's just over the crest of a hill. So you really got to put a lot of faith in yourself and in the car in order to get a good time through there.
Yeah, once you commit to turning into the right-hand part of the dog leg, you've really got to make sure you got the right line to use all the curb on the left and get through there nicely. As Tomei comes to line with an 18.6, so a little bit off what he did in practice also, but it's P8 currently. We go on board with John Latham as he comes around the final corner. Look at how much he gets close to that wall, uses all the road. He comes to the line. Well, this is to start his lap, so turn up your volume and have a look at this one because it's going to be fantastic.
Little bit of oversteer. Oh no.
We cursed him.
Commentators curse strikes again. Really sorry about that, John.
Yeah, we're pretty famous up here in the commentary box with that one, taking a lot on the Monday nights. But alright, John currently, actually he's P2. Matthew Hill has bumped him off with a 15.553, plays Latham's 15.562. But Latham now back to
Hill
P2.
Is coming out of the pits again. Looking to get some fresh tyres on that car and maybe even improve on that time because there are some very high caliber drivers in this field and they will want that coveted first position. So Matthew Hill has got a bit of a task on his hands at the moment. He has to really put a good lap together.
Yeah, one of the big things here is going to be draft down that front straight. You know, we say it every week, but this car really is affected by draft a lot and you can make up a lot of time. So if you can just tuck yourself in nicely behind someone starting your lap, you can get a nice run down into turn one.
Matthew Hill letting Colin Schwecke by as Schwecke comes into the latter section of the circuit on these really wide flat curbs.
Good job there, just nip the inside curb. Didn't use all the exit. That's where you got to be brave, as you said, Reece. It's not only is it flat out, but it's blind. So once you turn in, you got to make sure you got the right line. Thankfully, these cars are small and light, so you can sort of afford to maybe run that little bit off the line as he misses the apex though into the final corner.
Well, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you miss the apex in the final corner. You can still get a good line through there.
The 16.8, so he doesn't improve his time, and he's still off what he did in the practice sessions. Matthew Hill now comes over the line to start his hot lap. Currently got the top spot, but it's pretty close up there at the moment.
Precarious braking into turn 2. He's got a little bit of oversteer, just sliding the car just a little bit.
Yeah, he's going on that lap, so that'll be...
oh no.
That's it, he's aboard that one. So maybe we need to stop looking at people going into turn 1 and 2 because put the mockers on him now twice.
Indeed.
Mitchell McLeod, I think, was just behind him starting his hot lap. Might see if we can actually get a hold of Matthew Hill real quick while he's on his out lap. Hillier, mate, doing a good job out there at the moment, mate. P1?
Yeah, comfortably too, I think.
You're at 15.533 versus a 15.562 at the moment.
Yeah, that's it, 8,000ths of a second.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty tight in the practice session. So I think there was like 4 of his out there that were separated by less than a tenth of a second. So it's looking to be one of the closest races we've had so far.
Yeah, it should be a cracker. I mean, we've got some real good names, and a lot of us that are at the sort of the pointy end, we're all around the same pace, which is great.
We've got just over 10 minutes to go in the session. What do you think, mate? Can you go faster than that, or is that about all you got?
Yeah, if I put a lap together, I reckon I go to a 15.2. But I'll need a good run and a nice clear track and a bit of luck.
Yeah, so you got a car paddy there, mate. We'll leave you to it, and good luck, mate.
Thank you very much. Good call, guys.
Matthew Hill coming into the final turn, slowing up a little bit, taking a wide line and
trying to straighten up that exit
a
there.
late apex, getting on the throttle nice and early, running all the way out to the wall, and now he's going to start his lap. Maybe we should cut away from him if we don't want to ruin his lap like we have before.
As he coming down the straight now. I might try and watch him here. Hopefully he can get through turn 1 too nicely. He clips the inside curve as I said, the car's bouncing on the brakes. Didn't lock it up there, so got through quite nice actually.
Keeping
Nice
it
and
tidy.
smooth. And of course, Matthew Hill will be joining us in the commentary box tomorrow night for the Grand Am Series. It's a fantastic little series we've been getting up off the ground lately, and I think you're racing it, Reece.
Yeah, I do. I'm racing in the McLaren class at the moment, and I've had some bad luck in the last few races, but it's a very fun series, and it's one that I enjoy racing in.
Yeah, off to Watkins Glen tomorrow night, so make sure you guys tune into that. I think it's 9:45 p.m. Australian Eastern. I think is it daylight time? Not too sure on that one, but Sydney
Matthew
time anyways.
Hill.
Matthew Hill goes around.
Oh no.
As yeah, I think we might have to maybe stop going on board with drivers when they're on trying to do their hot laps.
Mitchell McLeod's coming out of the pits right now, blotting in very nicely, but Michael
Gray
Gray.
squeezing by Jeremiah Morton just there. It was tight coming off the bridge.
Oh, a little bit of oversteer from Michael Gray. Is he going to hold it? Oh no.
Done it again.
Whoops-a-daisy.
We've got a few apologies to send out after this qualifying session, I believe. There's see if we can have a look at.
All apologies will need to be submitted in writing to the drivers involved.
We're looking now at, I believe, Daniel Bryant. Currently sitting in P15. He's actually directly ahead of him in P14, Jay Kennedy. We saw some interesting racing between those two last week, and they were so keen and excited they wanted to come back and do it again, so looking forward to that one.
Of course, these guys are the founders of V8s Online, and as Daniel Bryant is a little
We've
messed
done
up
it
through the
again.
dog leg. He's off into the grass. Fortunate that he didn't go into the wall. Hopefully he'll have another shot at a lap time.
I'm not having much luck going on board with anybody at the moment.
Oh.
Who that was his outlap we're hearing, so maybe we didn't affect him too much, hopefully anyway. He's actually, he's pulling over.
Alright, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, Corey.
He's pulling over off the racing line there, so that'll be it.
Oh dear. Yep.
Phil Rockstra at the moment doing a good job. He was fast in the practice session with a 15.5, currently in 5th with a 16.3, so a little bit off where he probably wants to be in this session, but you know, he's really picked up his form as he's got one of that was Jay Kennedy in front of there going for a bit of a spin. He's really picked up his form from where he was at the first round or two to the last couple of weeks. He's really been fast. He's sort of shot himself in the foot a little bit with how the races have panned out, but he's definitely showing some good speed.
Yes, definitely, as he's coming through the dog leg, hooking it up very nicely through there. Hoping to keep it clean through the last turn, getting a little wide on the entry, but he hooks it up for the inside of the turn, and he's come out onto the start-finish straight, and let's see what his time is, or is it an outlap?
It's another outlap. So he's gone for a lot of these drivers do a slow outlap to make sure the tyres are nice and cool. He's gone for the fast one. He's used a lot of curve, then that'll say they'll be lap done actually. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
He's going to pull it over. So he's used a lot of curve when entering into turn 1, so that would have given him an off track. So I think
Mitchell McLeod is on the start-finish straight now. He's done a 1:15.553, matching Matthew Hill's time almost exactly.
At 15.553 for Hilly and a 15.553 for Mitchell McLeod as well. So
That
I think,
is crazy.
I think Hilly will be a little bit happy that he did that one first. So the tiebreaker gives it to him.
Indeed, but it just goes to show you how close the pace is at this round of Race to Reality.
Got a car way off into turn 1. I think it was actually Daniel Bryant. Flying off the racetrack into turn 1. I think it's rather turn 2 rather. Just miss the apex on entry and then just drop the right rear on the dirt. Around he goes.
It is such a tricky corner, that part of the racetrack.
So who are we going to stuff up this time? John Latham.
Coming into the last turn. Is this an
Hopefully we've
out
joined
lap
him.
or is it a hot lap?
Hopefully we've joined him late enough this time that it's not going to affect his lap time as he comes to the line. It is a 21.3, so a bit of a moment on that one maybe.
It would seem so. I'm not too sure. He might have cooled off a little bit just to preserve his tyres for this lap, which is where he's probably going to bring out his real pace.
Tell you what, he was into it in turn 1 and 3, the fastest I've seen of those top guys into turn 1 and 2.
Hard on the brakes.
Let's see if we can go on board with him. Hopefully we don't affect his lap time, because I tell you what, it's looking nice and clean at the moment. He's got a car up ahead there, Robbie Tomei, but he's a fair way up the road there. He's hitting the apexes nicely at the moment. He's getting the power down nice and early. Looking
coming
very smooth
over
at the moment, John
bridge.
Latham.
Just bouncing off the curb a little bit on the inside of the turn. Let's see how he hooks it up through this section of the circuit. Onto the curb, and using all of the road and then some.
You got to be very careful there, because you don't want to step out too wide and get an off track, and he's still into it, so it's looking like a good lap. I'll tell you what, I actually think that he's another lazy man racing driver, so if he can... Oh, there we go, he's gone.
Oh no, not again.
That was looking like a mighty fast lap there by John Latham. I was about to say, he's another lazy man racing driver, I believe, so if he can win tonight, that'll be lazy man racing domination over the last 3 weeks, as Phil Rockstra coming out of the last turn just clips the wall.
And he's abandoned that one. It was an out lap, I'm led to believe, or got an off track or something like that on a lap. But he's coming out of the pits again, just behind Daniel Bryant, as we cross to Dylan Carroll, who pits, pulling into the pits.
So we have officially hit 15 minutes in the session, guys, so 5 minutes to go to have a look at Adrian Stratford. Actually a guy we touched on last week in the VX Supercars. I think it was Division 6, qualified inside the top 10, so a lot of speed out of this guy at the moment. Sort of popped up out of nowhere.
Lap is looking rather tidy so far. He's run wide at a couple of corners, but looks like he's hooking it up a little bit through
a bit of
this
traffic ahead of
section
him as
track.
well. Looks like Phil Rockstra just gets out of his way. Mitchell McLeod goes to P1 with a 15.486.
Oh my goodness.
Great lap there by Mitchell to steer clear about half a tenth over Matthew Hill, but now it's going to be hard to find out there for a moment for Hilly, but great lap there.
Very, very nice lap indeed. We'll see what the other people can do to beat that.
Go back to Adrian Stratford as he now comes out of dogleg into turn 1. He was very clean and conservative through the dogleg. As he comes out now, got to watch out. You've got to put the foot down, but you can't tag that wall. Leaves a bit of room for security now as he comes to the line. See if he can improve. Currently in P8. He does a 16.133 and puts him into P6. Good lap there by Adrian.
Very good showing.
He's actually pushing on now too, so maybe he thinks the car could be faster on the second lap.
Perhaps. I saw him get a little squirrely out of turn 1, but we'll see what he can do.
Matthew Hill now coming to the line on his outlap, rather. So I have to see if we can keep an eye on Matthew Hill now. Got about 3.5 minutes to go in this session. Mitchell McLeod currently on the pole. Stole it off Matthew Hill only a few moments ago.
Keeping it tidy through turn 2. Coming into the right hand of turn 3. Hard on the brakes. Let's see if he can hook up the apex here. He does that very nicely.
Yeah, pulled up a bit slow into that corner though, into turn 3. Or it might have cost him just a little bit of time. Pulled up a little bit too early. Sideways
a little bit
there.
of oversteer moment from him. And that's
Can't
just
afford
about
to
the
get-
worst part of the track you can do that in, because
he can't
it's
afford-
an area with lots of elevation
and
change,
again,
more oversteer.
that'll be lap over. Yeah, he's going to board that one. I was about to say you can't afford to do that in this car. It'll throw away time really quickly. I know it's one of the things I struggled with when I first jumped in. It was sliding around too much. As now Phil Rockstra, as he comes to the line to finish his hot lap, he does a 16.4. So still hasn't improved. He's on a 16.3 at the moment, which is down in P7. In practice he did a 15.5, so not going to be too happy with that one at the moment. Tell you what, that was fast through 1 and 2 though. But Mitchell McLeod still in the pit lane, so maybe he thinks he's done enough for pole with only 2 minutes to go in this session. It is a good lap, but with John Latham and Matthew Hill out there, I'd probably want to be out on track at the moment, trying to get another one in.
John Latham has just started his hot lap, going deep into turn 2, but keeping it tidy.
Yeah, good run there. He's a bit of the exit curb. Got to see if he can go deep enough when it breaks down here. We saw Matthew Hill pull up a bit short before. Look at that. It's nice and to actually miss the apex a little bit.
A little bit of understeer.
Hopefully that won't affect him. If he gets to the line, he will make it a buy for another lap. So, going to try and decide now if he's going to be fast enough to push on, or if he should back off and conserve those tyres. Got Colin Schwecke up ahead of him, who's having a bit of a moment. One part of the track here is a lot of the inside curb. You want to just run the car out so wide there. Have to watch out though, not drop the wheels off from the dirt. Good line there. Uses a lot of the inside curb. Doesn't use all the exit curb there.
Precariously balancing the car, especially through here, through the dog leg. He hooks it up and he's going into braking for the final turn and
that was
downhill
nice.
and then an uphill braking zone.
One of the things into the last corner is being uphill. He's close to that wall out the last corner.
Nearly.
As he comes to the line, let's see if he can beat. It's a 15.8, so it doesn't improve it. Maybe that little bit of understeer through turn 3 cost him. He's going to have another crack at it now, though. I was just going to say, one of the things in the last corner is being uphill. You can really brake late and find a lot of time there. As we're hearing Phil Rockstra with 15.8 has now jumped to P4. Still 2 tenths off we did in practice, but 2-3 tenths off. But he's done a good job at the moment to get himself out of the mid pack. Got Daniel Bryant now coming for the last corner. He will cross the line for one more if he elects to.
What's his time going to be this time round? Oh, it was an outlap apparently, or an off track.
Adrian Stratford in behind him now. The session's got less than 10 seconds to go. Adrian also on an outlap. Looking Jake Kennett. Matthew Hill's right the next one in the line. He was sideways out of the last corner, just
I
missed
think
the
he
wall.
will just...
No, that's it. Session over. Matthew Hill, can he get pole? 15.8. No, he can't. Anthony Kernich is 16.0. Robbie Tomei to the line. It's a 17.2 for Robbie, so he does improve his time. P12. Colin Schwecke now at the last corner. Just looking, the session has officially ended, by the way, folks. And Schwecke to the lane. Oh, Schwecke, a bit of a moment there into the lane. And John Latham to the line with 15.637, so didn't even improve his time. Got Greg Robertson now at the last corner. To the line, see if he can improve. Currently in P13 on a 17.2. Does a 17.0, so he does improve. Gains a spot, so nice job there. And I think the last driver now on a lap will be Adrian Stratford.
Cut it a bit fine through the dog leg there.
Use a lot of the road though, which you got to do to get a good time. Bit wide though for the last corner, and he's going to watch out for this wall, and he's clipped it. That'll be lap over.
Oh no.
Let's
see what kind of lap he's done anyway. And it hasn't counted it, unfortunately, but that is qualifying over. And Mitchell McLeod is on pole.
Unfortunately, once you do touch that wall, it will discard your lap. So good effort there for that 20-minute session for everybody. Nice and close up the front as well, so it should be a fantastic race.
Definitely. It's a 40-minute race, and Oran Park being a much twistier circuit than Okayama last week means that the tyre wear is going to be more or less regular left to right, so it's going to be interesting to see what the drivers can do, whether to conserve their tyres or go all out. I'm hanging my bet on them conserving the tyres because Oran Park is a very twisty track with a very rough and bumpy surface, so we'll see what happens.
Take a quick look. Gonna have a timer has officially started, as we said every week. Time has started, so we'll keep you up to date what the actual timing is in the race. It'll be about 2 minutes off. So, gonna have a quick look at the grid though. Mitchell McLeod did get the pole with a 15.486. Matthew Hill in second, 15.553. John Latham with a 5.62 in P3. Phil Rockstra fourth. Anthony Kernich in fifth. Dylan Carroll 6. Adrian Stratford 7. Colin Schwecke 8. Guy Leach in 9. Gavin Sadler in 10th. Michael Gray in 11th. Backmanton in 12th. Robbie Tomei 13. And these two, the Vietnam Line founders, Jay Kennedy and Daniel Bryant in 14 and 15. And rounding out the 16-car grid, we've got Jeremiah Morton on a 1 minute 20.4, so he's only about 5 seconds off, so good job there by Jeremiah. I'm pretty sure he's one of our winners from memory.
Indeed.
So got about 15 seconds until the drivers will take the green flag.
Wonder how Mitchell McLeod is feeling on pole right now. The people behind him have done qualifying times that are very close to his, so we'll see how they compare in the race. Lights are on.
Mitchell
getting ready to
McLeod.
start.
Mitchell McLeod should be okay for pole. Former
Green
championship
flag.
winner in the Vet Supercars. As we take the green flag, these cars get away a little bit slowly there, but everyone gets away nice and clean. Looking for the shuffling in the backpack there. Everyone is nice and clean off the line, so watch down into turn 1 now. It's where the action, if it's going to happen, will happen.
Matthew Hill ducks in behind Mitchell McLeod and is running off a little bit. Oh, he's going in a bit deep into turn 1. That has let John Layton
They're back in the pack. It runs through turn 1 cleanly. So race.
Matthew retakes position 2.
They've run now done a good job to get through the first couple of corners nice and clean. They're still battling for positions. Close moment there between.
Cars are going into single file. You seem to be breaking up a little bit there, Corey, but Matthew Hill just fending off John Latham as Mitchell McLeod seems to be pulling out just a little bit of a gap already as they go through the dogleg for the first time. Sorry about that, people. Corey's mic seems to be breaking up. Guy Leach and Adrian Stratford are very close at the moment. It seems like one of the cars is having a few small connection issues behind them. They're going into turn 1. Guy Leach, or is that... That's Gavin Sadler in front of them. Taking a little bit of a tight line into turn 2. Oh, he's not going to be too happy about that.
Dylan Carroll and just going for a bit of just and sort of field box from there. There's actually a bit because they're sort of dragging out. He's
Oh no, we've got Matthew Hill off. Matthew Hill's into the gravel trap. He has gone back to the pits and it seems like he's gone back to the garage, so he'll be devastated about that. He was running in second, and as they came into the latter part of the circuit, he made a small mistake and was off into the gravel trap. So that has promoted John Latham to second spot, and it will promote Phil Rockstra to third, as it seems like, oh no, we've got another incident. Phil Rockstra, and who is that? That's Gavin Sadler. What happened there? They're off in the infield. Not quite sure what happened there. Oh, Matthew Hill has just posted a small message to us. He was having trouble with TeamSpeak, and that was what caused him to make his mistake. But still, that will be a very... Oh no, we've got Phil Rockstra sliding. Phil Rockstra slid, and he's hit the tyres.
Rockstra stays on there. He's actually stuck in the tyre, so I think he's got damage from when Dylan Powell drove into his car, and it's sort of one thing's led to another. He's actually in the pit lane now, so Phil Rockstra, unfortunately, after... looking...
That was a very, very strange incident involving Phil Rockstra.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just looking back at that one, and I think after Dylan Carroll drove into his car, it was a bit of damage to Phil, which sort of might have caught him off guard a few times.
It still seemed rather strange, as Phil Rockstra seemed to be pushing Dylan Carroll's car into the infield of the circuit and didn't seem to be letting up, so seems might have been a little bit of a... I'm not sure what happened. That was very, very, very strange. It seems like there's a little bit of an argument.
A couple of guys unhappy there as Jake Kennedy runs off the racetrack.
Seems like there's a little bit of... So there's drama on and off the track at the moment. This is turning out to be a very dramatic round of the Race to Reality series.
Yeah, a few drivers just talking about a few incidents earlier in the early laps. Meanwhile, Mitchell McLeod got the lead out to 1 second now over John Latham, doing a good job out there.
Indeed.
John Latham in P2, Adrian Stratford in 3rd, Guy Leach 4th, and Michael Gray has come from 11th on the grid to be now running in P5, and Daniel Bryan in P6.
They have done a really, really good job in only these first few laps. We're on lap 5 at the moment, to my knowledge, and mostly due to other people making mistakes and having incidents, but still a good drive is a good drive, and they're keeping their noses clean, which is good to see.
Don't apologise if we had any dramas a minute or two ago, guys. TeamSpeak, which we used to do our commentary, had a few moments and might have been causing a bit of lag. Hopefully it's all sorted now.
It does seem to be, Corey. It's good to have you back.
I think that was a TeamSpeak issue there, mate.
We're having a small battle going on between Jeremiah Morton and...
Adrian Stratford and Guy Leach at the moment. Locked in combat. Guy trying to get a good run off that last corner and have a run, Adrian.
And as you said during qualifying, Corey, slipstreaming is very important in these cars. Guy Leach seems to be gaining ever so slightly on Adrian Stratford as they come into turn 1. Braking zone is going to play a big part in trying to gain an advantage over your opponents.
Got a nice little battle between Phil Rockstra, Greg Robinson and Daniel Bryan at the moment. Daniel's doing a good job out there in P6. Got one over Jay Kennedy at the moment. And Greg Robinson trying to find a way past Daniel as Daniel goes to the alternate line. He's actually backing up there, backing them up rather in the mid-corner.
And since they're in a 3-car battle, Greg Robinson...
Oh, Greg Rockstra on the inside!
Run a little bit
move there by Phil Rockstra.
Oh,
He was
took the position.
mega deep into that into turn 4. Got the job done over Greg Robinson. Almost at the back of Daniel Bryan.
And Jay Kennedy is there sitting in the background. I think he'll be wondering, maybe I could profit from this if these guys are slowed up enough by the battle. It's a 3-car battle, so...
Yeah, it's about to become a 4-car battle. His eyes will be solely set on the number 33, Daniel Bryan, who's continuing to hold these guys up at the moment.
Colin Schwecke is pressuring Jay Kennedy at the moment, so we'll see who reaches the 4-car battle first.
It's about to become a 5-car battle, this one. It's interesting as we watch Daniel onto the straight, followed by Phil Rockstra, Greg Robinson, Jay Kennedy and Colin Schwecke. Those guys battling for 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, I believe.
A snake of cars getting a massive draft.
We've got Phil Rockstra here now trying to go around the outside of Bryan in turn 1. That's brave!
He might do a bit of the crisscross.
He's around, watch out, boys! Everyone's around. Daniel Bryan's off the road up ahead. Phil Rockstra goes for a spin. Daniel's trying to rejoin behind Jay. He's not going to get it done. And Colin Schwecke now is trying to get it on Daniel Bryan as well.
My goodness, it's all fallen apart so quickly, but they're still in a line and they're still very close. It's a 5-car battle, and that is a very interesting position to be in if you're in the middle of things, because you have to think about the cars in front of you pulling moves, but you also have to think about the cars behind you, and you need to really think hard about where you need to place your car in order to keep things clean.
John Latham, we're hearing reports, has lost a second on this lap, so not sure. The official timing was the second last lap. Gap now out to 1.9, so he has lost exactly a second. Not sure what the drama has been.
Either he's been having problems, or Mitchell McLeod has found the sweet spot in his car and is pulling out a big gap. Meanwhile, Adrian Stratford far behind them. Oh, he's had a bit of a moment coming into turn 1, clipped the wall and nearly slid into turn 1. That wouldn't have been a good thing to happen at that point on the racetrack.
He's actually looking like he might have a little bit of damage here at the moment too. The car's not looking too straight.
Well, it's not going to be good news for Adrian Stratford if that is the case, because Guy Leach is on his tail.
We've got Phil Rockstra. He's buried in the tyres again. The second time this race, Phil.
He is not having a good event at all.
See if we can grab a replay of that one. Briefly caught looked like he might have just dropped the right-hand side tyres into the dirt, narrowly missed Colin Schwecke, and backed it into the fence and I believe he was stuck, so he's back in the pit lane again. So another race now where Phil has had tremendous qualifying pace, and then come race time, he's just, you know, incident after incident really starting to hurt him.
As you were watching that replay, Jay Kennedy spun near the bridge and has lost 2 positions, and now he is a long way behind Greg Robertson and Michael Gray.
Going to give up. Have a look at the replay. It looks like Colin Schwecke went up the inside, and round goes Jay Kennedy, and Daniel Bryant goes zooming by. We've got Daniel now having a big moment there.
Getting a nice clean exit onto the start-finish straight. Daniel Bryant running in 9th place, 8th place at the moment because of Jay Kennedy's incident earlier on in the lap.
So we are officially, last time by that Mitchell crossed the stripe, we are at 10 minutes, so 10 minutes into this race at the moment. We had a change of positions for third with Guy Leach and Adrian Stratford.
It would seem that there was damage on Adrian Stratford's car because he seems to be falling back ever so slightly from Guy Leach. It's a little bit of an oversteer moment from Guy Leach coming into this sweeping elevation change part of the racetrack. Adrian Stratford dealing with some oversteer as well. I don't know. I think he might have some debilitating damage on his car if he lost the position that easily. Oh, but as
Guy Leach had a bad run up that last corner at the moment. Adrian pulls out, but he should have stayed in the truck a little bit longer down into turn 1. He's going to duck back in there and have another look, but he does appear he's got a little bit of damage. The car doesn't look like it's tracking too straight at the moment.
I'm feeling a little bit twitchy as Guy Leach protected the line into turn 1 there. Field seems to be spreading out a little bit. Apart from Colin Schwecke and Greg Robertson, who are still rather close, as Greg Robertson runs wide a little bit into turn 2.
Speaking of close, we've got a battle heading up on track back there. 4P, 8 and 9, Daniel Bryant and Jay Kennedy. We saw these two go at it last week at Okayama. I think we're about to see sparks fly again.
Oh, here we go.
They're going to go for Jay Kennedy now and right inside the car.
Let's gear up for this. This is going to be interesting.
With some fantastic stuff we saw last week. Those boys are out there having a lot of fun. They don't get a lot of time to race. I mean, they do a lot of work behind the scenes with Vets Line, obviously, and then trying to get it as much advertised as they can. As Jay Kennedy sideways off the hill. And
he's slid on.
Jay Kennedy, watch the wall. Where's he going to rejoin? He's actually looking down there at turn 3, I think. So I don't know. He's trying to take a shortcut or he's making. He's going to rejoin the track
gradually making his way back onto the track.
Oh,
he's spun again.
He's gone around again, Jay Kennedy.
Oh no!
He's doing donuts at the moment of the infield, so not quite sure
I think maybe he might be starting his celebrations early.
Gonna see if I can get a word with Jay at the moment and find out what that was all about. See if I can drag him down. We got Jay Kennedy. Jay, what's going on there, mate?
I just heard that you boys jumped on board with me, so I know that that's all your fault that I crashed. So thanks, guys.
Looked like you were trying to rejoin the track down there at turn 3.
I didn't know where I was going there. I was a bit crazy, so...
It's alright, Daniel's actually had a spin down at turn 2. He's still donuts in the grass.
Did he hit the wall? Did he hit the wall?
He's still going.
It was at turn 2. All he had to encounter was some rogue curbs.
As long as there's no geese, he'll be right.
He's back and going now, so hopefully you guys can get back out there. We're just getting all pumped up for that little battle, then yeah, we're deciding to go for detour.
It was a pretty good fight we were having with Greg and can't remember who else was involved in that. Colin as well. Yeah, Colin as well. That was a really good battle we were having there. It was disappointing it didn't continue after I tried to crash out half the field by spinning out. But anyway, that's how I drive.
Yeah, keep up the good work, mate. We'll try and catch up with you a little bit later on the race if you can catch up with Daniel.
No worries, I'll try and catch up to Daniel, and if you can, try and put the mocker on him and
I'll try and drag him down and distract him.
Yeah, good job.
It's always interesting to hear the drivers' thoughts when they're racing. Looks like Jay lost a spot there to Jeremiah, who's just ahead of him now.
Doing very well. If I'm led to believe, he was one of the ticket winners, and with a 10th place, he's doing rather well for his first outing.
Yeah, we've actually seen a few guys pull the pin on tonight's race after a bit of contact.
Indeed, I'm still very confusing with what happened to Phil Rockstra earlier on in the race. He's still in the pits, so he must have a very heavily damaged car. Either that, or he's just decided to call it a night.
Yeah, I think that was all damage from the initial contact, and it just sort of went from bad to worse out there for Phil, unfortunately. Nothing he could do. He had Carl look up the inside, drive into his door, and then unfortunately clipped the tyres when he tried to get going again. And then obviously bounced up on the tyre of Gavin Sadler as they went for a detour.
Meanwhile, Mitchell McLeod in a reasonably comfortable lead from John Latham. More or less 2.5 seconds at the moment. See what happens there. John Latham doesn't seem to be pressuring Mitchell McLeod all that much. But of course, this is motor racing. Online or real, anything can happen, so it may pay to keep an eye on the front of the field as we continue to look through the rest of this race.
Looking now, Jay Kennedy has gotten by Jeremiah. For the position, actually, Jay Kennedy, as I've just mentioned, he's had a big moment into the dog leg, and watch out for the fence. He's going to get a bit of air, just jumps over the racetrack and keeps going. Maybe I should stop talking about Jay. Gone to him twice now. He's had a bit of a moment.
I've just been informed that I've been pronouncing the leading driver's name wrong all this time. It is actually Mitchell McLeod. I am incredibly sorry, Mitchell. So
I'm
if
sure
you're
he'll
watching
forgive you.
this in the future, terribly sorry.
Mitchell's alright. He's an easy-going fella. I'm sure he'll forgive you, mate. He's doing a good job out there at the moment.
Stratford seems to have had a little bit of an issue coming out of the last turn. He weaved over to the other side of the start-finish straight at the end of that lap, and it looks like he is having a bit of trouble keeping the car straight as he runs wide into turn 1.
Yeah, just had a look at the replay. Looks like he clipped the fence out of turn, the last turn rather, so maybe he's having a few dramas with the handling of that car at the moment. Oh, we had a big moment there with Jeremiah Morton letting by Mitchell McLeod, our race leader. A bit unexpected there. Mitchell, I'm not sure if we can get a replay, but almost drove up the back of Jeremiah on that one.
We're at the point now where the leaders are going to be catching the lap traffic, so this is where things are really going to get interesting in this race. It's still rather close, having a lot of cars on track as John Latham goes by Jeremiah Morton. But they're going to have to be careful where they catch these guys and how they pass them, because it can make all the difference between gaining and losing a few seconds.
And that little moment has allowed John Latham to sort of find a few more tenths on Mitchell, down back to only 1.4 seconds. As Mitchell's coming up now behind one of his good mates, Jay Kennedy. So hopefully Jay doesn't make it too easy and he can line up this front battle here.
We'll see what happens. Jay Kennedy coming up over the bridge. Keeping his lines very clean, good to see.
It doesn't look like Jay's going to move over anytime soon, or will he? He's going to duck to the inside.
Yep,
so
he ducks over.
Good driving there by Jay.
That's
Watch out, John
McLeod
Latham
through.
just behind him.
McLeod through, thanking Jay on voice chat for letting him through.
Of course, Mitchell was the wonder that got us that very special photo of Jay's slippers. The Vets Online official dressing code a couple of months ago. Have to see
Unfortunately,
have to see if we can maybe try and get a picture back up on the page again eventually. There's Colin Schwecky, Michael Gray now battling. Michael doing a good job in P5 at the moment. It was a last-minute call-up. Took over my seat in the race reality. Actually, there's a car up ahead of him. It's Adrian Stratford.
A little bit of oversteer.
It's got Adrian Stratford who's gone off before the dog leg. Sorry, Reese. Stratford gone off before the dog leg, and now I think he's actually called it quits. I'm going to say maybe he's going to rejoin up at the turn 1-2 area.
Yeah. A little bit of oversteer from Michael Gray coming out of the final turn. Manages to keep it together though, and has got a sizable gap between himself and Colin Schwecky. But we'll see what happens over the next lap.
Like Colin just got a little bit loose coming out of the final corner there. Got a bit of the wiggles on. Maybe caught some of that inside curb.
Oh, caught a bit of the inside curb.
Michael
Gray bounced off the suburban-looking curbs.
Gray's going to have to run defensive. No, he doesn't. He stays out wide, taking the normal racing line. Colin had a look, but didn't quite get the job done. Looks like Michael might be struggling now with tyre wear.
Getting a little bit ragged as he's going through the turns.
Now on the gearbox cam, back bumper cam with Michael Gray now. Looking back at Colin Schreck, he's trying to find a way past.
Colin Schreck took a bit of a tighter line through there.
It's a great picture, this one. How low we're riding and see the different sort of racing lines and driving styles from these two.
Colin Schreck turning in a little bit earlier, catching more of the inside curb there, running a little bit wider too. See how they go through the dog leg.
See if Colin can get close enough to the last corner, maybe to get the draft of Michael on the front straight. Colin missed the apex a little bit there, and it's cost
maybe
a bit of time as he scrubs the
early.
tyres.
Almost clipped the wall. That was really close.
Looks so close in that rear camera there. Colin almost tagged the wall out of the last corner.
Unfortunately, it seems he's not quite close enough to get a good advantage from the draft on the start-finish straight. As they come into turn one, ooh.
I can say now, folks, we are officially over the halfway mark. Last time Mitchell McLeod crossed the stripe, he was at 20 minutes. So we're at the halfway mark of this race. Currently leading, as I said, Mitchell McLeod over John Latham, Guy Leach, Michael Gray doing a solid job there in P4, Colin Schwecke in 5th, Anthony Kernich in 6th, Greg Robinson in 7th, Daniel Bryan and Jay Kennedy in 8th and 9th, Jeremiah Morton doing a good job there in 10th also. Adrian Stratford, who I believe might have pulled the pin or gone back to pit lane to get a few repairs, in P11. Phil Rockstra is now 7 laps down in P12. Robbie Tomei in 13th, Gavin Sadler 14th, and Matthew Hill, Dylan Carroll round out the field so far. So a little bit more action tonight than we've seen in some of the other races. A little bit of damage to some of these guys.
Yeah, definitely a much more action-packed race than Okayama we are seeing at Oran Park, a few thousand kilometres south in semi-rural New South Wales.
You go racing around here at the moment. It's a housing development, so these guys now, Colin Schwecke still on the back of Michael Gray. He's a little bit closer this time by.
Can he get a bit of an advantage from the draft? He's pulling out, having a little bit of a look, but I think he's thought better of it as they come into turn one. Michael Gray seems to have gone a lot deeper into turn two than Colin Schwecke did, but he's also run a little bit wide.
Yeah, Colin trying to find a way past.
On these last couple of laps go a lot deeper into breaks from here as he's making a move. He slid! Colin Schwecke around.
91 to Colin Schwecke, backs it into turn 3. So I think he's all on that to avoid Michael Gray there, but looks like he might have...
that's brought him into the clutches of Anthony Kernich. As Colin Schwecke runs wide, gives Anthony Kernich a little bit of room. He's off. Oh, 2 positions lost for Colin Schwecke.
Yeah, 2 positions in 2 corners. I think those well, actually only 1 because Michael Gray was already ahead of him, but looks like maybe those tyres a little bit hot, locked up the rears going into turn 3 to try and get past Michael, and round he goes. Now Anthony Kernich sets his sights on Michael Gray in P4. Has been lapping a little bit quicker than Michael the past few laps. Mitchell McLeod now gets past
Daniel Bryant.
Yeah, past Daniel Bryant, and the gap between Mitchell and John Latham is now down to 1.2 seconds. Then you'll now let John Latham pass as well, so the gap up front is closing.
Down to...
Mitchell McLeod looking to hopefully join his teammate Madison Down, who also won at Oran Park.
We'll see what John Latham has to say about that, because last time by, the gap was down to 1.2 seconds from the nearly 2 seconds that we saw near the start of the race. John Latham getting a little squirrely on the exit of the last turn. Let's see what the gap is this time round. 1.5 seconds, so not right now, unfortunately, for John Latham.
Yeah, lost about 2-3 tenths in that last lap. Maybe just negotiating the lap traffic. But Greg Robinson out there at the moment doing a solid job. Currently running in P7 all by himself at the moment, just staying out of trouble and trying to get those points.
Currently running in P7 at the moment. Last car on the lead lap at the moment.
For those
as he is...
Go, Reece. I was just going to say, For those that are tuning in for the first time, this competition is all about trying to get a drive in the iRacing final by winning one of these heats. So far we've got 5 winners: Madison Down, George Maris, Justin Ruggier, Sean Kelly and Mitchell Abrahall. And Mitchell McLeod on target at the moment to try and get his ticket, but basically there's also another way you can get in, and that's by the bridesmaid, and it's that's all about just accumulating the most points you can without a win. So, these guys, if they're not, although they might not be the fastest drivers out there, they could still book a place in the final by just running each week and gaining those points. So, a couple of guys at the moment would be looking good for that. Is Phil Rockstra, Colin Schwecke over the last couple of weeks, sort of had to think they've scored a few good points.
Talking of Phil Rockstra, he's come back out of the pits now, and he's circulating just behind Greg Robertson on track at the moment. He's running in P12 at the moment.
Also, we've lost Jeremiah Morton due to an internet drama, unfortunately. So, looks like we are down to currently 10 cars out there racing out of the 16 that started. Actually, Jeremiah's just reconnected, but he's going to go a lap or two down now, unfortunately.
That's going to be a little bit annoying for him because he was doing pretty well for a ticket entry into tonight's race. Yeah, we'll see what he can do from here.
He was sitting just behind Jay Kennedy, Daniel Bryan, who's their battle's about to reignite. Looking, Jay's closing on. Jay Kennedy's closed up a little bit on Daniel Bryan in the last couple laps. Got Anthony
Gray
Kernich
and
now.
Anthony Kernich. Oh, Anthony Kernich.
Oh, Michael Gray returns to serve. He gets back past.
But Anthony Kernich seems to have gotten the better run, but he stays wide, lets Michael Gray through without
trying to get the over and under. He's got the power down nicer here.
Oh dear. He's going up on the inside.
Michael gives him room. Michael's
Michael's
actually run out of room.
And he's back through. Anthony Kernich is back through. Of course.
And Anthony Kernich done a good job there to pick up 4th place at the moment. These two having a good little battle now. A couple of nice side-by-side moments.
But of course, now that they are close through the last section of the circuit, Michael Gray will be trying his best to get close up to Anthony Kernich to get the draft and possibly repass him again.
And now back in the pack for 8th and 9th. Jay Kennedy's back on the back of Daniel Bryan. I wonder if Daniel's out there calling multi-21 at the moment because Jay's all over the back of him.
Deary me. I wonder if this is going to be another Okayama. We'll have to wait and see with bated breath.
Jay now is all over the back of Daniel Bryan, trying to find a way by. Not really any passing opportunities up through here in the middle part of the circuit.
Our friendly neighbourhood V8's online founders coming over the bridge and into the final section of the circuit. Jay Kennedy tucking in behind Daniel Bryant. Oh, taking a little bit of a tighter line.
Looking on board from the back of Daniel Bryan as Jay Kennedy's a lot of curving sideways.
Oh no.
For the dog leg. Lost a little bit of time there, but I'm sure they'll get back together. Is Daniel wide over the
run
dog
a
leg
little
there.
bit wide. Jay seems to be catching him back up slightly, taking a tighter line through the last turn. Daniel Bryant nearly clipping the wall. That's incredibly close. And
he just missed the pit wall as well. Looks like he's trying to wipe off as many cameras off as he can. Maybe can't put them off. It's only if he knocks them off.
I wonder if he's keeping a running tally.
Jay Kennedy now is closing the gap again.
Taking a little bit of a wider line is Daniel.
See if we can get a hold of one of these two in just a minute. Colin Schwecke, you're hearing, actually has received a meatball flag after a bit of contact somewhere along the racetrack, and unfortunately he's parked it currently in P7, but
Jay Kennedy ran a little bit wide. I think he's doing the crisscross on Daniel. Oh, he's not enough room as they go over the bridge. Briefly had the inside line, but yielded.
Got Michael Gray and Anthony Kernich going at it again. Kernich is he's going snail pace through the turn 3 there. Not sure what's happened. Trying to just go defensive, but he was almost stopped there. Looked like he just wanted to stop Michael getting the over and under. Get back on board now with Jay Kennedy and Daniel Bryan. Their battle continues. Daniel uses a lot of the curve in the dog leg.
Jay Kennedy uses even more. They're running off.
The battle is well and truly on now. Jay's trying to get
coming up close to 10 minutes left in this race, and it'll be 10 more minutes for these guys to duke it out. Daniel Bryant aiming for the cameras once again. He seems to be taking a very strange line down the start-finish straight. He covers the inside into turn 1.
I'm waiting for Daniel to maybe cut that a little bit too close and maybe smack. Oh, Kennedy's locked up there and he's almost
Daniel's almost run off, but he manages to keep it on the grey stuff.
He's got the better run there, runs the alternate line straight away across the front of Jay Kennedy. And Kennedy up the inside, will he? No, Daniel pulls back across the nose of the number 31.
This is heart-pounding.
These two are doing it. Daniel runs the alternate line again. These two are at it at the moment.
They're just having fun out there, aren't they?
Yeah, these two are obviously having a ball. And Jay Kennedy now trying to have a look around the outside. Daniel closes the door again. It's closed over the top of the bridge. These two are going at it at the moment. Jay's got the better
Jay Kennedy
sideways.
Oversteer. Is he going to hold it? He holds it. Just holds it.
Good job there by Jay Kennedy. As Daniel Bryant holds him off after closing all the doors that Jay tried to open. Meanwhile,
they come through to the dog leg once again. The gap seems to have opened up a little bit. We might come to them later when they're closer up. Anthony Kernich.
Going to say those guys now are in P7 and 8 with Colin Schwecky's retirement.
Michael Gray, a little bit of oversteer in the background, as Anthony Kernich seems to be pulling away slightly from him. Still, Michael Gray doing a very solid job in 5th place.
Last time Mitchell McLeod crossed the line, he had triggered 30 minutes, so under 10 minutes to go now in this race. And the battle in the back of the pack is Jay Kennedy. That's 8-3 United, but Jay Kennedy might have just put an end to it there, running off wide. And like Daniel Bryant going slow maybe to wait up for him. He's going to go to replay now of Jay Kennedy to turn 1. Daniel trying to get a run into one there. It looks like Jay just maybe locked up, went straight ahead. As the battle's back on again, these two, we go back to live pictures now.
Caught up once more.
These two are just out there having fun, you have to say. They're absolutely loving it.
This battle isn't over yet.
And just behind them, they've got Guy Leach coming up to lap them, and Jay lets him go. Yes, he does. Thought twice about it.
Let's see what Daniel does.
Actually, speaking of Guy Leach, doing a fantastic job at the moment. 36 seconds off the lead, but in position 3.
Very good job from Guy Leach so far.
Yeah, qualified in 9th. They're doing a fantastic job now to get into P3. A few retirements in this race. There's Jay Kennedy
so
now. So Jay Kennedy now closing back up on Daniel Bryant.
Probably got the draft just a little bit.
He got a terrible run off the straight onto the last corner there.
Unfortunately. Daniel seems to be weaving ever so slightly on the start-finish straight there.
They're trying to break the draft.
Trying to break the draft. Last time around, up at the front, the gap between 1st and 2nd seems to be seesawing a bit, because last time around the gap to Mitchell McLeod from John Latham was 1.195 seconds. So
it looks like John's closing up here off the last corner as well. So we get a read on it. We've got less than 10 minutes to go. We've got about 7-8 minutes to go now in this race. McLeod across the line. It's 33 minutes done. The gap is 1.4 seconds, so John lost a little bit of time there. He's close, but he can't get close enough to get that draft and get that position done, or the move done, rather.
If this gap can keep seesawing the way it is, we might see a very interesting finish to the race.
We've lost Jay Kennedy and Daniel Bryant. One of them's had a moment somewhere. Sorry, Reese. Actually, looks like it was actually Daniel Bryant at turn 3. Straight ahead through the dirt, narrowly missed the fence, chucked in reverse, and gets going. That was all at turn 3. Lost him a lot of time though. But narrowly missed that fence.
Michael Gray coming up on Daniel Bryant, fallen back a really long way from Anthony Kernich, it would seem. Must have had a bit of a moment earlier in the race, because Anthony Kernich is now much further ahead of Michael Gray than he was last time we saw them.
Looking now, and can't see anything that's really happened apart from maybe a slow lap here or there, but battle back at the front now. It's continuing. Looks like John Latham's closed. I'll get the official time as they cross the line this time by.
See what the gap is this time.
Mitchell McLeod clocks 34 minutes, and it's still it's down to 1.2 seconds now, so it is a bit of a seesaw at the moment.
John Latham needs to keep this eating into Mitchell's lead consistent if he wants to challenge him for the win in this last stage of the race.
Looking at Phil Rockstra, he's back out there, 7 laps down, currently running in P11. If you can just squeeze a few more in, he might be able to grab 10th off Colin Schwecky there, which won't be a bad effort after being 7 laps down tonight.
Indeed, a very, very good recovery by Phil Rockstra comparatively from his troubles earlier in the race.
Like Jay might be slowing down a little bit. We're hearing over the team radio, multi-21 from Jay Kennedy over Daniel Bryant, so...
They're just teasing each other now, our broadcast director is saying.
Like Jay Kennedy, I think he's slowing up for Daniel Bryant, so with a couple minutes to go, this is going to get interesting yet again. We saw some sparks fly at the final corner at Okayama.
Being true gentleman races, these guys catching up just to duke it out to the end.
Meanwhile, back up front, we are under a second. Mitchell McLeod crossed the line at 35 minutes 43 seconds, so under 5 to go, and the gap is only 0.8 of a second. John Latham is having an almighty late charge rather.
Oh, they've
Mitchell McLeod
really caught up.
Wide.
He's really caught up to Mitchell McLeod now.
This is not what Mitchell needed this late in the race. He's done such a good job all day.
Rare mistake.
Looks like he might be struggling with tyres out there at the moment. To go on board on the bumper cam with Mitchell McLeod. He might be struggling with tyres when, 40 minutes around here and these things is harsh on the tyres. A bit of lap traffic up there ahead of him as well. It's Jeremiah Morden. So hopefully this doesn't interfere with the front pack at the moment, and it's going to catch him at a really awkward time. Look at this!
Oh, a little
John
bit
Latham.
of a wide line through there.
John Latham is catching, he's catching. As Jeremiah lets Mitchell go. John's going to sneak on by as well here, so he's going to be close enough this time by for the draft. If he can keep up a good run to the dog leg and into the final turn.
Oh, he missed the second apex of the dog leg slightly, but he's caught up again through the uphill braking zone into the last turn. Let's see if he gets a good exit. Nearly brushes the wall.
He was on the power
here as they go down the start-finish straight.
He was on the power a lot earlier there, but ran out very wide. He's not going to be close enough this time by. The gap as they cross the line was only 0.3 of a second.
This is going to be an exciting finish if they keep this up.
McLeod does pull in. Mitchell there pulls into turn 1 a lot nicer there, turn 2 rather. Doing a good job out there. He's got one of the Vets Online Superstore tickets out there. Could actually, so did his teammate Madison Down was in there thanks to Daniel Bryant putting up a ticket from the Vets Online Superstore. So Mitchell McLeod trying to make it 2 from 2 at Oran Park for the Tats Racing drivers.
And regardless of whether he finishes first or second, like you said, it will be a very good use of his ticket. He's done an extremely good job this race.
Hearing that the official timer has hit 0. Yeah, sorry, RaceCentre said the timer has hit 0. In game, last time by was at 37 minutes. I'll update you when Mitchell crosses again. Meanwhile, the Jay Kane Denver Bryant battle is still raging back there for 7th and 8th. And Phil Rockstra actually, next time by the stripe, will pick up 10th place. And there he goes. So Phil Rockstra now back in the 10, 7 laps down, done a good job. Here in reports, Greg Robertson actually might have lost him somewhere, have we?
Greg Robertson.
He's fallen down the order and gone a lap down, so I think we've lost him.
Yeah, it seems that way. Unfortunate for Greg Robertson.
Yeah, he was doing a good job up there. It wasn't an internet issue because he's still in the still picking him up in game, so not sure what's happened. Look at the leaders. Last time by Mitchell McLeod, it was 38 minutes 17 seconds. The official gap was half a second.
So that means, by my rudimentary calculations that I just did in my head off the top of my head, next time by will be the last lap. Is that true?
I believe, yeah. Next time these guys cross the line, it will bring out the white flag. So one more to go. John Latham's got to try and get close. He's got a good run through there. Now got to try and get a better run through the dogleg this time. Maybe close up into the last corner. As Jay Kennedy, then Bryant battle continues. They've got about 2 to go now. They're still going hard at it. So John Latham now back in the pack.
John Latham is right on the tail of Mitchell McLeod.
He's done a good job there.
Made a mistake again. Sorry, Mitchell.
John done a good job. He's in the draft. Not sure if he's going to be close enough. The official gap that time by was 0.3 of a second again. So he's got to be brave. He's got to chuck a dive up the inside down into turn 2.
This is going to be his last chance. It's going to be the last chance for both of them to possibly seal a race victory.
Good job there by Mitchell McLeod. This is probably last few overtaking opportunities now. Going begging for John Latham. He can't quite get close enough to have a dive. Obviously doesn't want to punt off Mitchell McLeod on the last lap. He's still had a great race.
McLeod's car seems to be moving around a little bit. He must be struggling with tyre wear as they come up over the bridge and into the last section of the circuit, these last few corners before the race finishes. Mitchell McLeod keeping a very tidy line through that quick right-hander. As they come.
Very racing here, Mitchell McLeod. A couple of corners to run now. He comes over. Oh, John Latham's gone around! Oh, Latham's into the fence. He's into the gravel. Bounces off the wall. John Latham on the very last lap has caught the dirt and chucked it into the fence.
That's heartbreaking. That's horrible.
Going to go to a replay. He's just ran off the curb a little bit wide there. Rear right on the dirt. Round he goes into the fence. Meanwhile, Mitchell McLeod is on target. He's taken the win to book his place in the iRacing final. The Tats Racing driver there. Good job. Fantastic battle with John Latham all race long. Unfortunate for John in the final lap there. He's not going to lose another spot though. He's got about 40-odd seconds back to Guy Leach's. John Latham comes to the line. Stellar job there in P2. I believe both of these guys actually were Vets Line awards to get in. So good job tonight by those fellas.
Very nice job indeed. As Guy Leach is coming up to the dog leg now as he goes onto the exit curb. Coming up over the hill. It's only going to be one corner to go as he has Anthony Kernich behind him.
I don't think Anthony's going to be close enough to really do anything about it though. So as Guy Leach comes out of the final corner, as long as it hit that wall, Guy Leach is going to pick up a fantastic third place. Excellent drive there for the number 46
Very good
driver.
job indeed.
Anthony
Kernich is fourth. And coming through the dogleg now is Michael Gray, who has had an absolutely fantastic drive this race. Avoided trouble, kept his nose clean, and he's going to come home in fifth.
He slowed up out of the last corner. They might have had a few dramas. Qualified in P11, coming to the line. Going to take fifth. Great job there by Michael Gray. Behind him is Jay Kennedy. Jay
Kennedy. He's slowed up a little bit.
He's just teasing. I think he's teasing Daniel on this one. He's slowed up. And here comes Daniel Bryant. Jay Kennedy. Kennedy takes sixth place here at Oran Park. Daniel Bryant seventh. So great job by those two. As Daniel plays a leapfrog with Jay over the start-finish line.
Coming around the last corner now is Jeremiah Morton. He's going to bring the car home ninth.
I think he's already officially finished. He was behind Mitchell when they crossed the line. Mitchell McLeod doing some celebratory burnouts there. Great effort there by Mitchell tonight though. He qualified on the pole. He held off the pressure from John Latham, and unfortunately John lost his beans there on the last lap. Mitchell McLeod, very happy man tonight. So we have now had all the drivers, I believe, cross the line.
It would seem that way indeed.
Gonna have a look at the results there, and apologies, it does say Fiat Supercars, I believe, so of course it is the race to reality competition tonight. But a quick look at the results. Mitchell McLeod takes a win, eventually 14 seconds over John Latham, so after John spilled his beans on the last lap, that cost him, and then Guy Leach in P3, Anthony Kernich in fourth, Michael Gray, a stellar drive there for fifth, Jay Kennedy and Daniel Bryant 6th and 7th, all the way from 14th to 15th on the grid, so fantastic drive by those two. Greg Robinson, last lap dramas, we believe, or last few lap dramas, he dropped out there and 4 laps off, takes P8. Jeremiah Morton, good job after dropping out twice during that race to finish in P9. Phil Rockshaw grabs the top 10, 7 laps down. You got to give it to him for staying out there and the commitment on that one. He's done a good job out there for P10. Colin Schweck in 11th. Adrian Stratford had a few dramas in P12. Robbie Tomei in 13th. Gavin Sadler 14th. Early dropout Matthew Hill in 15th. And Dylan Carroll rounds out the field after in contact with Phil Rockstra early on during the race. So a big thanks, Reece, for joining me again tonight, mate. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed myself this race. I'll be back next week.
Also, big thanks to Shane Gilfeather for joining in at the start. It's always good to have a look around, mate. Those race centre complexes really do look like a nice place to race. And, of course, big thanks to V8 Supercars Fan Group the Vietnam Line Superstore and Direct Clutch Services for all their continued support through our 3 broadcasts, of course. And big thank you to Sebastian Murray Wesberg in the background. Also joined us for a little while tonight, so got to hear the voice of the director who we have in our ear constantly. So lucky you only had him for a couple of seconds there. And anyway, of course, join us again tomorrow night from 9:45 for the Australia-New Zealand Grand Am Championship at Watkins Glen.